China has its contracts, like every city around the world. Like for me, I'm from Venezuela and I know what it means to be contrasted. In Venezuela, as in China, but in Venezuela, in the case of Venezuela, people that works for the government is the people that have supercars, that have the best cars. Every time that you see like a supercar there in Venezuela, you immediately connected with the government, because we live in a system that is also a communist system, such as the system that China lives nowadays. The difference was when I check out this BBC productions about China, it was the people that have supercars were people that get involved into some sort of necessity into China. The first video that I checked out was the guy that has a lot of supercars that he get out of the real estate there. In some cities that are very, very populated in China, it's one of the countries that is most populated in there. When you work for a real estate that you need to sell houses, there are people that are massively growing up, is tend to have like a lot of money, a lot of movement, and these people are putting all of their money that they're earning into supercars. That's one way of seeing like the economy and the capitalist economy that China has nowadays. The difference and the contrast with this is like some cities are such more, but like they're so populated that the real estate companies have like a lot of things, have like a lot of sales, and you can buy, these people are selling houses can buy like supercars. But then you have the contrast of the other video that I saw on BBC called the city ghost city called Kambashi, and in this city there's a lot of projects there, there's a lot of buildings, there are all houses like has been built, but when you check out the video, these projects has been just stopped because people don't want to move there because there's no project. It was just a project into hands, it didn't work out, and that city is so beautiful, so amazing, but no one lives there. They're like establishment that never sell anything, and there's just a few thousands of people living there for a city that it was meant to be for millions. Just a few thousands living there. It's called Ghost City because of this reason. It's so weird, the contrast of these two worlds, that people are selling like houses massively, buying supercars, whatever, the economy works out, and then you have Kambashi that actually everything is just stopped. There's just few establishments to go eat, there's just few people. Some people call it like ghost city because there's absolutely no one there. And it's so different, these two worlds, about how the economy works in China and how people doesn't live into rural areas of China because they don't want to move there because they're already established in one place. And it's very hard to move like millions and millions of people to a rural area when they're already established in one place, especially because they don't want to move to a city that they already call it like ghost city and no one is there. In the other hand, when I saw these two things, there's another BBC video talking about the suicide rates and how people manage with these suicide rates. They said like very rarely the healthcare is free. It's very rare there in China, and people doesn't get treatments about like suicide problems and like all of this stuff because they don't have the money to pay for it. That's basically like most of the population cannot pay for this for these mental problems and issues that they have, and they tend to suicide because on this BBC video they explain that people are looking so much for fame, so much for money, so like trying to get to the top, and they cannot manage it because it's very hard to get to the top in a country that is managed by communism, that is very like tied up about the things that you can do, the things that you cannot do. And for most of the people, most of the population there in China, it's very hard for them to actually like do something to earn that money that they actually care. So they think that the best solution is just to commit suicide there in China. And it was very hard to see these 3 videos of the BBC explaining like, this guy has a lot of money, he's buying a lot of supercars. He had like 7 supercars. He doesn't even count how many supercars he has. He has a lot of money, he doesn't care. Then it's these people that are committing suicide because of the problems that they have. They don't have enough money. There's a lot of people there in China. He cannot grow up. People are fighting each other for fame, fighting each other for money. It's weird. And then there's these rural areas also in China that is not being populated. So it's so hard for me to see these different two worlds, this capitalist system, this capitalist system in the economy, and this communist system into politics, and how people can control what people can do, what cannot do. And it's so hard for me to see all of these explanations.